Right now at noon, the Missouri Secretary of State explains the process of certifying election ballots.
And while some of us saw a couple of stray showers earlier, the rest of us dealing with dry and warm conditions. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, an update on impeachment proceedings against the mayor of Carthage.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Snowy. We are now 4 weeks away from Election Day, when millions of Americans will cast their ballots. But when you vote on November 5th, you might wonder what happens to your ballot after you turn it in. KOAM's Samantha Walker sat down with the Missouri Secretary of State to learn about the certification process for election results.
When your ballot leaves your hand, you won't be the last person to see it. Your ballot is dropped to the bottom of a tabulator or ballot box. It isn't copied or destroyed. When polls officially close, tabulator machines wrap up their numbers from all precincts, and election officials begin their count as well. But that is just the first step in a nearly month-long process to certify official election results and make sure your vote was counted correctly.
We keep counting. We then go through a process of certification. We go back and check the numbers. We keep track of how many ballots are sent to a polling location, how many are cast, how many are spoiled, how many are brought back. Does that match up with the number of votes?
He says this process also allows them to correct any issues they may notice within election results. Ashcroft says it's not uncommon for numbers to be entered incorrectly on accident at the local level, but the certification process ensures that someone else is counting those same ballots and corrects those numbers before it's too late.
Sometimes we will notice a problem on election night with a number, but once we've put it out there, we don't change it until we go through the certification process. Because the last thing we want is for numbers to be changing and people saying, hey, what's going on there?
The Secretary of State adds that you will likely see a slight difference in numbers between the unofficial results released on election night and those released after the certification process. The official results come directly from the Secretary of State's office after they've completed all certifications. You can find them on their website. Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
The certification process typically lasts for 30 days past the election. It's expected more than 3 million Missourians will vote this November. Well, be sure to download the KOAM News app for all of your election needs. You can also go to our website for election information at koamnewsnow.com/elections. The website will include resources for all of the 4 state areas, such as polling places, deadlines, dates, and you can even check to see if you're registered to vote. Once again, that's koamnewsnow.com/elections. Now let's check in with Chris Warner for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got sunny skies out there for most of us, and it is starting to warm up. Temperatures on their way to going above average. It's a live look from MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line. Our camera downtown Pittsburgh, seeing the same kind of situation. Mostly clear skies, a cloud here or there. Started yesterday about 5 degrees below normal and made it up about 3 degrees above, so not too bad. In terms of temperatures. Today it's going to be, again, a little warmer, already on our way. 73 in Joplin, sitting at 71 in Pittsburgh. A look at temperatures around the region, and across northeastern Oklahoma, it's already a little warmer. We got mid, even upper 70s, sitting at 77 in Miami. We got a little cooler in Sedan, Stockton, Monette, Cassville into the 60s. The rest of us, for the most part, into the low 70s. Temperatures, again, are going to continue to rise. We're looking at upper 70s, maybe a couple of low 80s for highs. Clear skies through the rest of the evening and down to the upper 50s by 11 o'clock tonight. We're going to have more on your forecast, our slight rain chances Thursday, and the latest on Hurricane Milton here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, a McDonald County judge yesterday formally sentenced Dawn Wynn to life in prison without parole for shooting and killing her husband, Harold Wynn, in 2021 near Anderson, Missouri. Now, during her trial in August, the defense argued that the initial investigation of the scene included a series of missteps, as well as no fingerprints on the murder weapon. A forensic pathologist testified that Mr. Wynn could not have committed suicide due to the lack of trace evidence, gunpowder, or burn marks. Wynn was also sentenced to 15 years in prison for armed criminal action. You'll find more details on the case on our website, koamnewsnow.com. Well, Joplin authorities were clearing a crash on I-44 West near Rangeline just after 10 a.m. yesterday morning when another crash occurred. Now, the secondary crash, which happened in the eastbound lanes, involved 2 school buses and a towed vehicle. The first bus was towing an SUV. As the first bus slowed in traffic, the second bus crashed into the towed vehicle, crushing it between them. Authorities say both buses were new and being delivered to a school district, but did not have children on board at the time. There were no reported injuries. The city of Carthage continues to move towards impeachment proceedings against Mayor Dan Rife. Talks of impeachment from certain members of the city council goes back to April. The articles of impeachment accuse Mayor Dan Rife of violating his oath and duties as mayor. A hearing officer was hired for the hearing date. However, Rife filed for a temporary restraining order against the proceedings. A Jasper County judge determined that the delayed hiring violated the mayor's due process rights. A temporary restraining order was granted to Rife, temporarily halting the proceedings. The date for the impeachment hearings is tentatively set for October 29th. The city of Joplin held a council meeting last night, and the council discussed a number of items, including emergency ordinances to revise school zones, as well as school zone speed limit times around a number of schools. The council also discussed increasing the speed limit on 44th Street from Connecticut to Rangeline from 35 to 45 miles per hour. Well, the city of Neosho, Missouri has support for its infrastructure on the way. Yesterday, the city hosted a presentation announcing the receipt of community development block grant funds. Neosho plans to utilize the funds to improve parking in the city. The 26th Annual National Environmental Conference at Tar Creek kicked off today at Northeastern Oklahoma A&M College in Miami. Hosted by the lead agency, the free 3-day event is open to students and the public. Now, this year's theme, advocacy through the arts, included community art displays, a fish fry, taco dinner, and a silent auction. Attendees will hear from experts on environmental issues like lead poisoning prevention, prairie restoration, and updates on the Tar Creek Superfund site.
All this could have been avoided many years ago. The simple procedure would have been just to keep the water moving underground. No one wanted to be responsible for that, pay for it, and this is the result.
Now, the conference will run from 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. today through Thursday of this week at the Bruce G. Carter Student Union Ballroom at NEO. Well, coming up, a church in Frontenac is celebrating 75 years of serving their community. And later, we're making White House strawberries Romanoff in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Well, for 75 years, generations of chefs have embraced a beloved tradition, preparing chicken and noodle dinners to benefit the Frontenac Methodist Church's fundraiser for its mission and faith. KOAM's Lonnie Walton spoke with an original member and takes us to the kitchen for the story.
Well, honey, if you was raised back 75, 80 years ago, you do a lot of things, learn how to do a lot of things. And noodles was something that we all made back then.
Cleo Nataleading from Frontenac United Methodist Church is the original member of the 75-year tradition chicken and noodle dish. She says she does it all for her faith.
We did it to raise money for the church, and it's just gone on and on.
Church member Jan Alai says they were whooped after all the work. They've invited the Frontenac Middle School next door to help with the load.
We're worn out.
It's a lot of work.
I tell you, we had to start making noodles a week before because we couldn't do it. Yeah. We've been blessed with the students from Frontenac that come over.
The members of the church are very thankful for the students who come and help them. The teacher says it's the experience that they get from the classroom to the kitchen.
They love it. Like this group right now doesn't want to leave. They're upset when the block is over, that it's time to go back to their regular schedule. And then the students in the past, if they get to do it again, they're like, yes, I love Noodle Day.
I love those kids like they was my own.
As the aroma of the homemade noodles fill the air, it's clear that this time-honored tradition helps strengthen the bonds of the community. Reporting in Frontenac, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Now, the church says they plan on making between 80 to 100 pounds of chicken for the season. The church will start taking pre-orders during the middle of next week, and the dinner will be held on October 16th. Well, still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
Today's recipe is so special, it's worthy of being on the White House menu.
And we've got more hot temperatures on the way as we head into the second half of this week. Well, the latest on that, some slight rain chances, and what Hurricane Milton's doing when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM News at noon. So temperatures warming up, especially across northeastern Oklahoma this afternoon as we start to get a little above average today. And then more so as we head into our Wednesday. Let's start with a live look from downtown Pittsburgh. We got mostly clear skies out there. It is sunny and it is not bad at this point, but again, it will continue to warm as we head through the afternoon. Skywatch Storm Tracker, I want to show you this because if you recall, if you were with us this morning, we had a few showers, even a couple of thunderstorms rolling through Elk and Chautauqua counties, and we are now left with just a few isolated remnant showers here into Newata County, so just north of Delaware, south of Coffeyville. Not really much out there, but still a couple of stray showers trying to hold on from this activity as it continues to push off to the south and east. So that's led to a little bit cloudier skies across the western portions of our area. But again, the rest of us looking at those mostly clear skies. So as we head through the rest of the afternoon, that's what we are expecting into this evening. Those clouds will all eventually clear. And by about 5, we are looking at just straight up clear skies across the region. Temperatures tonight be a bit on the cool side again. Some of us might even fall a little below normal. And then tomorrow is our first day of significantly above normal temperatures to the tune of about 10 degrees or so above where we should be across the region on our Wednesday with sunny skies. Then we'll head into our Thursday, so it'll be a little milder overnight, Wednesday into Thursday. And then Thursday morning, now I want to point out on the future track here, this green area that it's highlighting, this is where we could see an isolated shower or thunderstorm, but those chances don't last too terribly long out there, and they're not very widespread, and we are honestly talking a shower or two that will be possible for our Thursday. The majority of us will be dry. Take a look at this eye wall now that's now reformed here on Hurricane Milton. And as such, it was near Category 5 strength earlier this morning. Those winds came down, but they are back on the uptick. However, at this point, expected to remain a Category 4 storm, although strengthening could still take place as it continues to lift off toward the west coast of Florida. Still set to make landfall late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning as a strong Category 3 storm. Still Category 2 status over the peninsula, and it will eventually again move off into the Atlantic as a Category 1 storm before it begins to fall down. So again, we've got hurricane warnings from Fort Myers, Tampa up north, all the way to the east side of Florida, Daytona Beach up toward Jacksonville, and that does include Orlando, and tropical storm warnings for the southern half of the peninsula, including the Keys and Miami. And then they also restart up here on the north side, so the tropical storm warnings include Jacksonville, but the hurricane warnings right there behind it, just southeast of Panama City. If we go a little further up, now those words are going to follow us, but we have the tropical storm watches that go up the Carolina and Georgia coasts up toward Charleston. So a lot to keep an eye on for areas that are still recovering from Helene. Sitting at 73 in Joplin right now. Winds are calm. The air is very dry, so no outdoor burning out there, please. And we're sitting at 73 in Pittsburgh as well. Of course, again, look at the dew point humidity levels. Very dry air. Temperatures around the region off to the southwest a little warmer. Upper 70s in Miami right now. And otherwise, we are in the upper 60s and low 70s across the region. Still looking at those highs for most of us, upper 70s, but again in Oklahoma, some low 80s will be possible. Low to mid 80s on our Wednesday, and we'll go mid upper 80s Thursday. Take a look heading into the weekend. We see temperatures getting close to 90 degrees out there before we get another boundary. Sunday night into Monday briefly cools us down. We heat back up, maybe some stray showers toward the end of next week.
Definitely need that rain.
We certainly do, and there's just not a lot out there.
No, there's not. All right, thanks, Chris. Well, stick around. We're making White House strawberries Romanoff in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Well, this week, Howard's out of the Mr. Food Test Kitchen sharing with us recipes from Washington, D.C. Today, we're making White House strawberries Romanoff.
Our nonstop tour of Washington, D.C. continues. and there's still so much more to see and do. We could spend a month here, but the one place that we needed to visit was the White House. And even though I've seen it 100 times on TV and in the movies, there's nothing like seeing it in person. It's hard to imagine what it would be like to live at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. This place is humongous. It takes a staff of more than 450, including a team of chefs to keep everything running. After all, you don't think the First Family takes care of all 132 rooms themselves, do you? Now, since most of us probably will never have a chance to dine in the White House, that doesn't mean we shouldn't eat like a dignitary. That's why we recreated a dessert that was served when the Kennedys hosted a luncheon for Princess Grace Kelly. It's a simple yet fancy-tasting strawberries Romanoff that has stood the test of time. And whether you're serving this to royalty or not, you'll love how the combo of fresh whipped cream and the vanilla ice cream accents the orange kiss berries. To get the recipe to our White House Strawberries Romanoff, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a presidential way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website. That's, of course, KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
All right, upper 70s today, low to mid 80s tomorrow, maybe an isolated shower or two on Thursday. We start heating up, pushing near 90 by the weekend. Another boundary Sunday night into Monday, cools us down briefly. We heat back up on the flip side of that, and maybe a few shower chances toward the end of next week. So unfortunately for us, not a lot of rain out there right now.
Hopefully we'll get some. That'd be great.
That would be.
Certainly need it.
Absolutely. And Dalvey Air Force tonight.
Well, a lot's coming up at 5. For starters, Hurricane Milton is making its way to Florida's Gulf Coast, as Crystal lists. The National Hurricane Center is warning of a storm surge it calls an extremely life-threatening situation. This as many Florida residents are still recovering from Hurricane Helene. Plus, we want to help you learn more about the candidates you're going to be voting for this November, starting with those running for Cherokee County Sheriff. And the Joplin City Council discusses revising school zones and school zone speed limits around a number of schools in the city. We're going to hear how that could impact residents, and of course that means you. Hope you join us for those stories, a lot more. It's coming up on KOAM News at 5.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dal. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. We'll, of course, see you right back here at 5. Until then, have a great rest of your day.